Born in Birmingham, Alabama, on Christmas Day, December 25, 1958, Fat Cat later relocated to Southeast Queens, New York, and rose to prominence as one of the most infamous drug lords of the 1980s. His imposing physical attributes, a linebacker-thick neck, a head so big it blocked out his friends' faces in photographs, and his rangy beard, according to Ethan Brown's book Queens Reigned Supreme, led to his street nickname, Fat Cat. Big Mac's Deli, which Nichols inherited from his former father-in-law, served as the hub of his narcotics trafficking ring. His group, who were based in Jamaica, Queens, mostly sold heroin and cocaine. Luke Spoon Stephen, Joseph Mike Bones Rogers, and his prison mate Howard Pappy Mason were among the few trusted members of Nichols' crew. Born on September 8, 1959, Pappy Mason began his career as Nichols' bodyguard but soon gained a reputation as a devoted and vicious enforcer. Mason became well known as a villain who was not hesitant to use violence to defend Nichols' interests because of his erratic temper and lack of fear. Compared to notorious Mafia enforcers like Sammy Gravano before his betrayal, he was compared to a samurai who was loyal to his employer. The Bebos, Mason's own gang, functioned under Nichols's bigger organization and developed into a separate drug trafficking group. The Bebos were also known for their blatant acts of violence. It is reported that Mason shot drug consumers who voiced dissatisfaction with Nichols' product. Together, Nichols and Mason were two of the leading figures in the Supreme Team, a large and powerful drug trafficking ring that controlled Queens during the crack epidemic. With a vast network of dealers and enforcers under its control, the Supreme Team, which included individuals like Kenneth Supreme McGriff, flooded New York City with crack cocaine and made millions of dollars in profit every year. Nichols' riches allowed him to live a luxury lifestyle, complete with expensive cars, mansions, and shopping sprees, and their crew was both feared and admired. In New York, Nichols and Mason were at the epicenter of the crack epidemic that changed urban America in the 1980s. Uzi-toting dealers wearing bulletproof vests became a cultural cliché since their operation embodied the decadence and violence of the day. The era had a significant impact on hip-hop, and Nichols and Mason became famous figures in the poetic canon of the genre. Their legendary position in the streets was further cemented when rappers such as Nas, 50 Cent, Jay-Z, and Fat Joe included their names in their songs. The impact of Nichols and Mason went well beyond just music. The war on drugs and mandatory minimum sentencing laws, which altered the American criminal justice system, were influenced by their blatant disrespect for law officers. Their exploits, especially the widely reported crimes they committed, contributed to the public's impression of urban deterioration and resulted in regulations that disproportionately impacted underprivileged areas. The 1988 murder of rookie police officer Edward Byrne marked a major change for Nichols and Mason. Byrne was protecting a witness in a cocaine case against Mason on February 26, 1988, while seated in his patrol cruiser in Queens. Mason, who was incarcerated on gun-related crimes, ordered the hit in retaliation for what he saw as police indifference. The murder of Byrne, who was shot dead by four attackers in an ambush, stunned New York City and became a national emblem of the war on drugs. The murder brought Nichols and Mason's actions into sharp focus. Mason received a 7-year term for gun possession 1 month after Byrne was killed. After he was found guilty on federal racketeering counts of ordering the officer's murder on December 11, 1989, federal officials continued to investigate him for the Byrne assassination. In 1994, following legal maneuvering that included inquiries into Mason's mental capacity, he was given a life sentence without the possibility of release. Nichols' empire also started to fall apart. In 1985, he was found in possession of drugs, firearms, and $180,000 in cash at Big Mac's Deli. Nichols was charged with second-degree murder in connection with the 1987 death of his parole officer, Brian Rooney, as well as the murders of his childhood friend and his ex-girlfriend, Myrtle Horsham. In addition to being sentenced to 25 years to life in prison for his 1992 murder of Rooney, Nichols also admitted to narcotics and racketeering offenses, which resulted in an additional 40 years in prison. Although there was tension when he accepted a plea deal to spare his mother and girlfriend from more severe penalties, Nichols did not testify against Mason, despite some neighborhood rumors to the contrary. Nichols is still behind bars, serving a sentence that is essentially life in prison. For the Supreme Team, the Byrne murder marked the start of the end. High-ranking members were arrested as a result of mounting police pressure, including Viola, Nichols' sister, who was also Mason's lover. As the Supreme Team's influence waned, their title turned into a warning tale about the devastation brought about by the drug trade. Due to his involvement in the Byrne murder and other federal offenses, Pappy Mason remains imprisoned at ADX Florence for life. Hip-hop continues to preserve the legacy of both men, with their names appearing in lyrics and their stories chronicled in books such as Queen's Reign Supreme by Ethan Brown and The Dope Game, Misadventures of Fat Cat and Pappy Mason by Seth Ferranti. Their influence on rappers and the larger story of the crack period demonstrates Nichols and Mason's cultural impact.